fallout continues this morning, and it continues to make the front pages as the BBC announced new measures to keep contestants safe, as they say. Yesterday, Zara McDermott spoke publicly for the first time about her incredibly distressing experiences during training and during rehearsals. And this morning, there are reports of another professional's behaviour being called into question. Well, Lucie Cave joins me now with the latest. So these new measures, they're talking about having like a chaperone in the room when they're rehearsing?
So they've really sort of feeling like they need to safeguard what's going on. Obviously, there's been so many different stories coming out. The BBC have been investigating this for a couple of months. And now they're saying they're going to have to have a production team member present during all rehearsals at all times. They're really sort of increasing the support, and for them it's about safety measures. There's going to be 2 new roles on the Strictly team dedicated to welfare support. So there's a celebrity welfare producer and a professional dancer welfare producer. So they're really bringing in a lot of sort of stringent measures, and there's going to be a lot more training for the production team and the crew. I mean, they've got to take it seriously because, you know, as you said, you know, Zara's just spoken out. There is now a third, we don't know who it is, but there's rumours that there's a third Strictly professional who has been said is a person of interest. So they're continuing to investigate all of this. It does feel like it's getting quite serious, and they've got to do something.
And the reason we're interested in it is because we really love the show. And it's actually quite distressing, really, all of this. Well, look, join me now, the professional dancer, Christina Rianoff. Now, Christina, of course, spent 8 years on Strictly, and she reached the final with Simon Webb back in 2014. Christina, what do you make of all of this and the idea that we should have chaperones in the room all the time with the professional and with the celebrity?
Well, good morning, Lorraine. It's lovely to see you again, and it's lovely to be on the show. All of these situations now are very distressing, I think, for a lot of Strictly fans to read. And for someone who worked on the show for 8 years, for me as well, it is very disturbing. It's very upsetting. That statement from Zara, for me as a woman, was heartbreaking, that she actually suffered so much stress and abuse, and it's never okay, and it's just in any shape or form should have been allowed. It's just very sad that she had to live with that for a whole year till now, that she could actually speak out about it. And from my point of view, they're saying that they have to bring the chaperones because the member of staff has to be always present there. But if you have cameras there, if you have a camera crew, you do have a member of staff always there. I think, to me, yes, you can add a chaperone, another person of production. But in my years on Strictly, we always had production crew filming every single second of rehearsals. That was the case. And all my 8 years, and we weren't allowed to practice or be without a celebrity partner in the room, practice with them without that being supervised by the cameraman, by the crew with us. So they are part of the Strictly crew. So you can add a chaperone, but again, if it's a chaperone coming from the BBC, then again, I feel it's maybe, you know, a little bit one-sided. So, but if the cameras are there all the time, you can't get away from what is filmed. You know, there is evidence on the video, and I think that should be really plenty and should have been done like that previously.
It's interesting, Christina, because is it, do you think, a very different show now to what it was when you were there? I mean, we all remember you and John Sargent, and we all remember the fun and how much we loved that, and it was so entertaining. And you got the best out of him, the way that you taught him and instructed him. You definitely got the best out of him. But do you think it's got a bit more competitive and serious now?
I think the show, I moved on and a very different show now. I also have to say that when I was hired for the show, I had to go from a very strict process of actually being vetted for the show. I flew in from America to do my interview on camera. So it was a 45-minute interview. Then I had to teach on camera a runner, sort of kind of show how I teach, you know, the cha-cha-cha and the waltz. Then I flew back and I had to present all sorts of things. certifications of all my professional exams. I had to have emails and papers from organizations I worked with. So kind of, a resume and all kind of support of my character, sort of to be on the show. And I think this process isn't there anymore. And I also had a 10 years of teaching experience before I was hired on the show. And to be fair, all of the pros are in my years on the show, we all came from competitive background. We all were teaching and teaching for some time. So we have that experience of teaching people. I think a lot of professionals, they take now on the show, they might be good dancers, but it isn't your main job. Your main job is to teach and teach that person who you're with the way they can understand, they can progress, they can flourish on a show. That is the main job. Not that you can stand on your head or do a cartwheel, in a group number. That's all well and good. But in the end of the day, it is about your teaching ability. And I think some of the pros who are very young, they probably not even have that teaching experience. So now with BBC having all the issues on their hands, can they present, like it was, let's say, with me and Brian Fortuna back in 2008, that they've vetted, that they've seen all the paperwork, they've seen that we are professionals, we had, letters of support from organizations we work with and so on. Can they say about all of the pros they hired now that they have that and they've done that check?
Yeah, Christina, that's fascinating. I wish I had more time to talk to you because it's fascinating to hear, from you because you were there and you did it. That's your experience and we completely understand it. Thank you. Yeah, me too. And Lucie, of course, it's the 20th celebrations, isn't it? 20 years. So this is kind of overshadowing it all a bit.
20th anniversary should be a real time for sort of jubilance. I mean, hopefully now they've put these measures in place, it means everyone can sort of, reset. Obviously, I'm going to talk to you later about rumours for the new contestants.
Sure. So that's what we want to be talking about, isn't it? We want to be talking about the upcoming thing. And I hope it doesn't put people off, celebs off. I don't think it will.
No.
But I hope it doesn't. And Kate Phillips, the BBC's director of Unscripted, has said in a statement, while we know our shows have been positive experiences for the vast majority of those who've taken part, if issues are raised with us or we're made aware of inappropriate behaviour, we will always, she says, take that seriously and act, which it looks like, it looks indeed like that's what they're doing. But still to come, Lucie, she said, Lucie's back with the latest rumours on who might be joining Strict.